Okay, so there are, I've got 6 different methods down that Christians typically use. The first one is called the classical method, and the classical method, you can think back to guys like Thomas Aquinas, or even as far back as St. Augustine, some of the early fathers, St. John of Damascus, who's in the 7th century. It seems like he used this method. So the classical method makes use of what we call natural theology. And natural theology is just this enterprise where we use reason and empirical science to show that God exists. So there are different arguments for the existence of God. There are cosmological arguments, plural. There's the Kalam cosmological argument. There's the argument from motion and change from Aristotle and Aquinas, for example. Those are 2 different kinds of arguments. We have design arguments, classically given by William Paley, who is an 18th century British philosopher. And then there's the moral argument. This was made famous by C.S. Lewis in the opening chapters of Mere Christianity. So those are some different arguments that a classical apologist will use. And then it's called a 2-step approach. So the first step is showing that there's a God, and then the second step is to show that Jesus rose from the dead. So they're going to make the case for the resurrection of Christ. Okay, so it's very simple. 1, God exists. 2, Jesus rose from the dead. The conclusion is that Christianity is true, and that's game, set, match. Okay, that's the classical method. So again, it's called the 2-step method. You show that God exists, you show that Jesus is risen, Christianity is true. Doesn't matter if the earth is young or old. It doesn't matter if Noah's flood was local or global. It doesn't matter if people might object to the violence in the Old Testament. If God exists and Jesus is risen, Christianity is true. Okay, that's the classical method. Pretty simple.
Our 1-hour webinars are monthly on the 3rd Thursday, and are designed to equip you with historical, scientific, and philosophical reasons for believing that Christianity is true. Our webinars are free and are open to the public, so feel free to invite your friends. If you go to ratiochristi.org/webinars, most of our monthly webinars will feature a presenter from within Ratio Christi. However, we'd like to bring in special non-Ratio Christi presenters on a quarterly basis, so stay tuned for what those are going to be.